Okay, good afternoon, grade 7. We are now in the module 1 of weeks 1 to 2 or fourth quarter. And we'll be talking about MS Excel basic functions and formulas. So this is a another knowledge for you on the usage of Excel or MS Excel or spreadsheet. Right? Let's move forward. Basic Excel functions. Using functions is the core of MS Excel. This is now handling data or data management. It simplifies complex calculations with the use of functions, which can accept arguments and process the output with pre-coded calculations. For example, entering the formula sum of A1 and in the cell means the values of cells from A1 to A10 will be added. So if you're going to look at, um, let me open an Excel file and I will let you see. Excel file, it's in here. If you're going to look at an Excel file, it says that the sum of A10 is to A1 is to A10, or the sum of A1. By the way, the upper part is the column there is labeled letters, and the rows there is labeled numbers. Okay, so in this column A, it was labeled A1 because it belongs to column A, row 1. Okay, column A, row 2. So this is an easy way also for you to identify your functions or your data, right? Again, the formula sum of A1 to A10. Okay, if we're going to input it, sum of A1 is to A10, it will highlight the A1 to A10. So whatever values that you input there, it will automatically be added directly to your spreadsheet. Right? Let's continue. Math functions. There are hundreds of functions available in Excel. The screenshot below uses the basic math functions such as sum, average, maximum or max, minimum or min, and count. So this is the screenshot if you're going to look at it. Okay. The Can you see my shared screen still? Okay. If you're going to look at it, it has the sum, the average, the maximum, the minimum, and the count. And we highlighted B4, okay, B4 to B7. Okay, these are the formula. Sure. Why is the formula can be seen there? Remember that these are functions, right? Functions should start from an equal sign. Okay. If you're going to look at this, let me share my screen again. This would this is actually the actual document. Let me share it. Okay. Now, if you're going to look at it, this is B4 to B7. So if you have the sum, okay, this is equal to sum B4 to B7. The result is 5,122. So that it actually summarizes it all or add it all. Okay. How about the average per month? Average. of B4 to B7. So when you say average, this is the total divided by 4. Okay? How about the highest per month? B4 to B7. Okay, maximum. It will just look for the highest among the 4 regions. Okay? How about the lowest or the minimum? This is from B4 to B7 again. What is the lowest there? This is 1,285. That's the lowest. Okay? And count, it means to say that it will just look for the the cell that that has been occupied. So we occupied 1, 2, 3. So it counted 3. Right? Let's move forward. Average gives the average or mean of the selected range of cells. So again, how can we get the average? This is the total over the number of items. Okay, that's the average. Max or maximum checks each cell value and shows the highest among the range, while the minimum or min determines the lowest among the range. Count determines how many cells among the range has numbers. Okay? When formulas are entered in a cell, they do not need to be typed again when they are also needed in other ranges. Simply copy the cell with the formula and paste it on the cells where the function is needed. Okay, just like this one. Okay, let me share again one of the example. Okay, like for example, for this one, can you see my shared screen? Can you see my shared screen? Grade 7? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, for example, for this one, we need to have the exact, okay, the exact formula for the cells. How can we get the exact formula? Simply copy and paste. It will automatically adjust itself. Okay, let us check average C4. Okay, correct. How about this one? Average D4 to D7, correct. Or you can also drag. Have you seen this box? This box, grade 7. This box, if it will transform into a cross, this is the time now that you can actually drag on the cells that you want it to be occupied with the same formula. Okay, the same. So it will be easier for you to copy and paste those formula. Okay, and if you're going to check it, it's still the same, right? The formula will automatically adjust the range. For example, in the screenshot above, the formula in cell B9 was entered with the range of B4 to B7. When the formula was copied in the cell D9, the argument of sum were changed to D4 to D7 instead, just like what we did a while ago. Relative referencing and the field handle. This feature of MS Excel allows the formula to be entered, and the user can simply copy the cell to other cells, and the range will adjust based on the destination of the cell's position. This feature is called relative referencing. This feature also happens when the cell formulas are copied in different ways on other cells. When the formula is on a cell, that can cell be dragged on the adjacent cells by clicking the fill handle and holding it, dragging the mouse. A cell can be dragged in any direction, left, right, down, or up, just like what we did a while ago. This is the fill handle. Okay? The box, the small box that I'm telling you a while ago, those are the fill handle. Okay? The file handle is a square dot on the lower right part, the active cells outline. This one. Okay. File handle. And once you drag it over, it will just simply copy the formula that was in that cell, or that is actually encoded in the cell. A fill handle or file handle is supposed to be dragged down. It can double click. Instead, this action will fill the cells directly below the active cell, but will stop when there is a blank row. Okay. Relative referencing is also applied when the fill is double clicked. Okay. Absolute referencing. The relative referencing feature of MS Excel may not be needed all the time. For example, in the screenshot below, the formula C4 plus F2 is entered in cell D4. Like for example, this one. Okay, let's have this one. Let me share my screen again for the actual file. Check. Okay. Like for example, for this one, the formula is um, C4 plus F2. C4 plus F2. If you're going to copy it over, okay, the same formula, copy and paste, you can observe that um, the F2 there is not added. Okay, look at, diba this is F2. Okay, this is column F, row 2. Okay, it was added in the D4, but when it comes to D5 or D5, it says C5 plus F3. So it moves actually until the last. So it moves to F4. This is called, this is actually um, one of the calculations of MS Excel. So how can we make absolute referencing? So we can make absolute referencing by adding a dollar sign on before its character. Like for example, for this one, we just need to add dollar before F and dollar before 2. So we can actually fix that particular cell. It should be added in all the cells. Like for example, this one, I will just copy, and automatically the formula is already there. Okay, copy and paste. So if you're going to look at, F2 is already added to it. Okay, it is actually now, it is fixed actually, so it is not moving downwards. Or you can just simply use the fill handle. Okay, fill handle, drag it down, and automatically it will just um, fill the cell with that particular formula without moving the fixed content. Okay, right? So let's move forward. Using named ranges. Another way to create absolute reference is by naming cells. To do this, place the cursor in the cell that needs to be absolute. Then, on the name box, found on the upper left portion of the MS Excel screen, remove the cell address, then type the new name. In screenshot below, cell F2 has been clicked and named additional fund has been entered in the name box, just like this one. Okay, additional fund. Okay, if you're going to look at this, you just click the cell and you name. Right. You just click on the cell and change the name. So we change the name to additional fund. Okay, the purpose of that is to make an absolute value or absolute name of that particular cell. Okay, when a cell has been given a name, the name can be used in the formula. The formula C plus additional fund now can be used on the capital on the other cells without the need to put dollar sign on the formula. Okay, so this is now absolute reference. We are now naming the cell. So like for example, in this example, since you already named this as additional fund, all we have to do is to put additional fund. So automatically, it will just add the additional fund, okay, without putting a dollar sign. Okay. We didn't actually input the dollar sign simply because we already named the cell additional fund. You just put the name additional fund there, and there you go. Okay, just like what we did a while ago. Entire ranges can also be highlighted to be named. Okay, in the example below, it is named as local sources. Is used in the sum of function. The range of local sources refers to cell C2 to C7. And just like this one, okay, we can name actually the entire column with a particular name. Okay, just like this one, we can actually highlight them and create a name, local sources. Okay, to have a summary, all we have to do is to sum, okay, do the summary or the addition. You need to add everything. So you need to add sum, the formula, and add the name of the column, local sources. Automatically, it will sum up everything. Okay, you can always change it to, like for example, number with two decimal points or with columns, okay, or comma separator. How about this one? Average, still the same average, and you just need to write the local sources. Okay, you can change this one. Always change this one to a number with a separator of comma. And that's it. Okay, let's move forward. Basic text functions. MS Excel does not just process numbers. It can also process text. In the screenshot below, the proper function is used to convert names typed in all capital letters to a proper case where the first letter of each name are capitalized, just like this one. Okay? If you have a set of names, and then it has um, let me unhide first. If you have a set of names and you want it to be corrected, okay, meaning if it is in all capital letters, the correct or the proper noun or the proper way of writing names are first letter should be capitalized, right? For the family name and the surname or the given name. Like for example, for this one, proper. Okay, the formula is A2. So we need to have the proper A2, and you can actually see the output here. Okay, that's the proper. Okay, okay, let's move forward. Just like this one, you just write or type equal to proper, and automatically we can have the proper way of writing your name. The proper function is related to the upper and lower functions, which turns text all caps or lower case respectively. The proper function puts into uppercase the first letter of each word in the cell. So you can also have the upper and the lower case, or the capital and the small letter. So like for example, in this case, we actually converted this to upper and lower case. Okay, this is the lower case, lower A2. Okay, and this is all capital or upper C2. Okay, are you still with me, grade 7?
Yeah.
Alright. So these are the examples, upper and lower. Text functions can also extract parts of the cell values. For example, column A below needs to get the 4-digit of the student ID, which corresponds to the year the student started. And the left function can accomplish this two arguments. Okay, the first argument is the cell where the number or the text is, and the second argument is the number of character it needs to extract. Like for example, for this one, okay, left A2 4. Okay, let's have the exact example. Okay, like for example, ID number. Let's have this one. For example, this one. Okay, left A2. Okay, A2 is the cell where we need to extract the numbers. Okay, starting from the left. Okay, and A2 the cell, and how many numbers should be extracted? We extracted 4 since we need the year started. So it extracted 2017 from here. Okay, and so on. What if we will change this to 5? Or we will change this to 7, for example. It will extract the 7, okay, characters from the cell. Okay, it depends upon. Right? So let's move now to formula. Left A4. This means that the 4 characters from the left will be extracted from the cell A2. Meanwhile, the relative left function is the right function, okay, which has the same set of arrangement of arguments. Okay, but instead of extract characters from the right. So instead of extracting characters from the left, we now try to extract it from the right. Okay. For example, for this one, you'll extract again characters from the right to get the student code. This is the student code. Okay. So from the right, A2, how many characters should be extracted? It's 5 characters. Okay. You're going to um, extract it. The 5 characters from um, the right is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 18. 1, 8, 3, 4, 4. For A2, A3 is 8, 1, 7, 2, 1, and so on. So that is how we actually apply the left and the right function. Okay. Meanwhile, to get characters in the middle, we can always get the characters in the middle. use the mid function. Okay? Unlike left and right functions, mid function has three arguments. The first argument is the cell where the value will be extracted. The second one, or the second argument, is the number where the function will start extracting from the left. The third argument is the number of characters to be extracted. Like for example, to get the middle of 3 digits of your TIN number or tax identification number, use the formula mid. Okay, middle E2, that is the cell or where should we extract the data. 5, we will start at 5. Okay, fifth element or fifth character, and how many digit it should we should extract. It's 3. So E2 is where the cell or where the T number is. 5 means that the function will start extracting from the fifth character from the left. And finally, 3 means it will extract 3 characters from the fifth. Okay, like for example, in this one, let's have the example. For example, in this one, so we have the TIN number or tax identification number, right? So, middle of 3 digits, it should be 219. How did we get this? Mid function. 82 is the cell. Okay. 5 is where should we start from or where should we start extracting. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We will start at the middle. Okay. And lastly, how many digit or characters? It should be 3. Right? So there you go. We extracted the middle digit of the tax identification number. Another text function is the concatenate function, which can combine values of several cells into one cell. In the formula below, the value of cell I2 and H2 are combined by concatenate function to form the full name. Like for example, this one. Okay, let's have the example. Like for example, this one. In H2 and I2, we combine. So I2, let's remove this first. Okay, we combine the first name and the last name. Okay, but how can we make a a, a distance or shall we say a spacing between the name and the family name or last name? All you have to do is the same formula. You just need to write or put this sign in order for us to create a space. This means that you are now inserting a space in between this cell. Okay, you're now creating space between I2 and H2. Okay, and you still need to drag it down, fill handle down. So automatically you are creating spaces. Okay, let's move forward. However, the results may need to further modify to include the space between the first name and the last name, the one we did a while ago. Using quotation marks in formulas. To add space in your formula, a space must be inserted and must be enclosed in quotation marks. The result will be just like what we did a while ago. Okay, we are now creating space. Quotation marks allow text, words, strings of characters to be used in formulas. It is not just in text function, but other function as well. Okay, in the formula below, the @company.com has been added to the formula in result of your email address. Okay, just like this one. We'll try to make an email address out of it, out of the name. Okay, so all you have to do is to remove this one and you add at company. You are now creating an email address, out of the name. Okay, you're inserting now at company.com, right? Using if function or situational, or these are called situational functions. If function is another useful function in MS Excel. It allows for logical structures to be created. Okay? Like for example, in your grades, you usually use if function for pass or fail. For fail, this is actually a um, logical uh, calculations of MS Excel. Like for example, let's have this. Okay, let's have this first. In the formula above, if, because this is if function, b2 is greater than 75, is the first argument and acts as the logical test. If the result is true, okay, or false, is b2 greater than 75? If it is, the answer in the logical test is true. Okay, true means pass. Else, if the answer is false, it's failed. Okay, like for example, in this one, let's have the actual. This one. If B2 is greater than 75, that's the logical tests. Okay. And if it is true, it will just display pass. Or if it is false, it will just display failed. Okay. It's like this one. So this is greater than 75, it's pass. 74 is not greater than 75. Okay. So since it is not greater than 75, it is false. So it will just display failed. And 96 is greater than 75, it is true. So it just displayed pass. Okay. After the logical structure, two arguments are added in pass or fail. The formula's second argument is pass, and pass correspond to what the word or string will show in the cell if the logical test returns the true answer. Note how the quotation marks are used to enclose text. Meanwhile, the formulas in the third argument provides what